In this video we're curing salmon to make gravlax. Hi everyone, this is James from Barbechoo.com and welcome to another cook on the channel. Although technically this one isn't a cook, we are curing today. So we have a piece of Atlantic salmon here. There's around 420 grams or so, and we're actually going to cure that and turn it into gravlax. Now, when I first heard of gravlax, I didn't really know what it was, so I decided what was the difference between gravlax and smoked salmon. So I jumped onto the internet to have a little look about and find out what the differences were. And to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure. There is lox, gravlax and smoked salmon. Lox is when it is cured with just salt. Gravlax uses salt and sugar mixture, and obviously smoked salmon is then smoked, but it tends to be lox which is smoked, but then there's people who smoke gravlax. I also found out then there's gravlax, gravlax and gravadlax. Either way, I think we're making gravlax. We have the gravlax cure from Smoky Brae. So this is their pre-mixed salt and sugar mixture for curing salmon. And we're going to use some of the fennel pepper in it as well. So I was looking up what traditionally would go on a gravlax. And the common ingredients are salt, sugar and dill. So we'll have dill too, but there's people that add a few different little things in there. Fennel came up and pepper came up, so what better product to use than this fennel pepper. So it is currently a Wednesday night. This, once we get the cure onto it, it needs to go into the fridge and cure for around 72 hours. So we're starting it now, and then at the end of this video we'll jump forward in time and we'll see how it turned out. So our piece of salmon here still has the skin on, and it has had all the pin bones removed. This is around half of a full salmon fillet, so like I said, it's around 420 grams. We're going to get that into a container and get all the cure ingredients on top. So the first thing we need to do is actually get it into some kind of container where it can live for the next 72 hours. So I just have a normal high-sided bowl here. So that should fit perfectly in there. Get rid of that. So this is a nice size, not too big, enough to hold everything in place and keep the salt solution over the top. So the first thing that needs to go on top is the actual gravlax cure itself. So this is a mixture of salt and sugar. It is the Smoky Brae, both the salt and sugar is smoked. You need to use roughly around 50 grams of this per 450 grams of salmon. So there's enough in these little packs to do almost a full salmon side, around 900 grams, depending on the sizes of the salmon obviously. So what we're going to do is just sprinkle that over the salmon. Just press it into the flesh, make sure and cover as much of it as you can. Some recipes say to do both sides, so they'll do skin side and flesh side. A few of them I've watched just say to do the flesh side, so that's what we're going with today. Right, next we're going in with around 2 teaspoons of the fennel pepper. So this is just fennel seeds and ground black pepper. Again, try and sprinkle it evenly over the entire surface of the fish. And again, give it a quick pat down. The last thing then to go on top is dill. So dill seems to be the one ingredient that never changes. Gravlax always has dill on it. So we have fresh dill here. You can pick off the leaves, but as we're going to be brushing most of this off, I'm going to leave the stems in there and just roughly chop the whole thing. So just run your knife through it to get it all finely chopped. And once you have that all chopped, it's the last thing to go on before we get this covered and into the fridge. So this may seem like quite a lot, but over the 72 hours this will start to break down and the fish will draw in the flavour from it. So you need quite a lot on there. And that's it. Just looks like a big green mess so far. So I'm going to cover that over with a plastic wrap. Adding that salt sugar solution will draw a lot of the moisture, so in 72 hours time there'll be a lot of liquid in the bottom of this tray and the texture of that salmon should have changed. Both lox and gravlax are uncooked salmon, so we don't cook this at all. It's not smoked and it's not cooked. So once after 72 hours are up, we'll lift it out, take off this dry brine ingredients, and we'll start slicing it. So after these few shots of the gravlax, you will see me 72 hours in the future. Alright, salmon has been in the cure for 72 hours in the fridge. We've lifted it out, uncovered it. As you've seen from that clip, there's quite a lot of moisture's come out of it, so the salmon has firmed up nicely. It's still nice and soft, but the texture's definitely changed on it. So we've just scraped off all them cure ingredients and give the surface of the salmon a wipe down just to dry it off a little, and then left it sitting out just to tax up on the surface. So it'll be interesting to see how the flavours differ in this compared to the likes of smoked salmon. Obviously this isn't smoked, and we'll have that dill and the fennel and the pepper in there, so hopefully that's imparted a lot of flavour into it. But there's only one thing left to do, and that's slice it up. So the idea is to slice it as thinly as possible. This is the longest, sharpest blade I have. It's not a flexible blade, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but we'll give it our best shot. Got sliced up really nicely. You're able to get a nice wafer thin sheet, so you can almost see through them, but it's still holding together. Whenever you're slicing, you want to try and keep off that sort of fat layer that's underneath the skin, so angle your knife up as you get towards the end. But there's only one thing left to do, and that's give it a try. So there are a few ways you can eat it. You can put it onto wheaten bread, it's quite nice. If you're doing it for breakfast, cream cheese and bagels is always a common one. Or if you're just using it as a party food, you can do it on crackers with a little bit of cream cheese. Smear some of that on. And just layer on some on top. It's pretty good to me. What do you think? Give it a try. So the other half of this salmon fillet I actually smoked. So it was just done in a regular cure with salt and sugar and a little bit of lemon zest, and then smoked for 24 hours. There is much more flavour off this one. So there's no smoke on it obviously, but I can really taste the dill and the fennel. The fennel, obviously we use the Smoky Brae Fennel Pepper. Not getting a huge amount of pepper off it, but there's definitely them sort of fennel undertones in there, and also you can really taste the dill. As it's broke down in the cure, it is really drawn into the fish, so I would actually prefer that over smoked salmon. You can smoke this, so once it comes out of the cure you can put it in and give it a smoke, but I almost like the texture of this better and the flavour is a little bit nicer. Full disclosure, I am not a big fan of fish. I do not eat a lot of salmon, so this is quite a new thing to me. But out of the two of them, between sort of a regular smoked salmon and this way of curing it, I definitely prefer this. So this is maybe a nice one to try coming up to Christmas. And obviously salmon's quite a popular breakfast, so if you're looking for something for Christmas morning breakfast, this can be perfect. Put it out with a few bagels, a little bit of cream cheese. Job's a good one. Plus you can prepare it beforehand too. So I'll leave links below to the full write-up on the website of the recipe and the method I used to prepare this. Also I'll leave links to the Smoky Brae Gravlax cure and the fennel pepper that we used in the mixture as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.